What's
Yeah,
well, what's
before
up?
we, yeah, so just before we begin, is like the sound clear and stuff?
Yeah, pretty clear.
Okay, yes, so my name is Vikram. I started a YouTube channel on dating and lifestyle, and I just kind of wanted to talk to you about that. So yeah, we could begin.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Um, so when when I was 16 years old, I felt like when I was like really nervous and I found like social situations were really hard for me. So I looked online on like how to talk to girls and like how to become better at that.
Mm-hmm.
And the only sources I could find were pickup artist sources or more red pill sources.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted to get your take on it. Like, why are there no progressive versions of the pickup artist movement? Why is it only like why are like dating advice for men only kind of controlled by more pickup artists or red pill sources?
I think there's a human tendency to take our moral views of the world and kind of work backwards from there. And if stuff is incongruent with how we think things ought to be or our ethical systems, then we'll kind of disregard inconvenient facts about reality. I think when progressives look at the world, or when left-leaning people look at the world, there's a very big fixation on like we ought to make things fair for people, we ought to make things equitable, we ought to alleviate or address certain systemic or societal problems with certain groups of people. And sometimes that view can kind of be perverted, and you can switch that from like we ought to make the world more equitable to like everybody is equal. We just have to get rid of some systems to show it. And so I think that when it comes to like pickup stuff, I think that when far left people have like a view of the world that like everybody should be equal, then that means that nobody's different from one another, which kind of like erases a lot of the potential to give like dating or pickup advice because everybody's the same and everybody should be treated the same, and there's no reason to have like a different look at people.
Yeah, and I quite agree with that. Like when I was preparing for this conversation, I looked up what conversations you had, and you went on a panel by Kyla, so not so erudite,
Mm-hmm.
where where this guy called Eli said the red pill community makes it really difficult for men to get into dating. A lot of men don't understand social skills and will fall down the red pill pipeline,
Mm-hmm.
and this may re result in them like messing up in relationships. But I would kind of argue that it's the other way that's true. Because when I look in those communities between who are most successful at dating, it's not really the progressive community. It's like I've learned more about dating from red pillars than from the pickup artist movement, so right from the leftist or progressive movement. And there's a video by this woman who, I think her name is Lumirue. She went on a Tinder date.
Watch this.
Yeah.
Oh no, dude. That I'm sorry. That video triggered the fuck out of me because she did so much wrong and put herself in such a horrible position and like ignored like two huge red rape flags. Um, One was letting a guy that she didn't know pick her up from her place, and the second was accepting drugs from a guy who wouldn't do the drugs himself. I cannot fucking believe that she did that. Oh my, or I think they are non-binary, so I can't believe that they did that. Oh my fucking god, that was so stupid. Sorry, fuck that. That video triggered the fuck out of me. Oh my god. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, in the pickup artist community, that video is used as like the biggest example of feminist hypocrisy. Because she's all about like how we need to be against toxic masculinity, how we need to be,
But then
like
they say that they find like the Chad
oh
person
right,
on
sorry.
Tinder, and they what?
No, I said she, I meant they.
Oh yeah,
Sorry about that.
yeah. But then they find like the super Chad like alpha person on Tinder, and they try to play it off to like, oh, I just wanted to see what it was like, blah blah blah, and it's like, oh my god, like how, like it's such a bad look, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it is. And but yeah, that's one of the main things I wanted to talk to you about because Um, what I want to do, I want to show that you don't need to be necessarily red pill to get into the dating scene. But I know I had a conversation with Alex Villainchik, so playing
Mm-hmm.
with fire.
Mm-hmm.
He disagrees with me. He says that being a feminist who tries to get good at with girls is like being a vegan who works as a waiter in a steakhouse. And
Okay.
so I guess I kind of I kind of wanted, because I don't really agree with him, but yeah, since I've kind of gotten into the community, it does seems odd that I just can't find good progressive sources on dating for men. Um, um, there's like a different part that I wanted to know. It's like it's this argument between, I guess, within the same topic of progressivism versus red pill, which is about the just be yourself versus having good game.
Hmm.
Most, what is your take on the? Because this is common advice that a lot of people give about, hey, if you want to get good with girls, you should just be yourself. Yeah, what's like your take
I
on
mean,
it?
like, just be yourself is that's true, but it's too simple. Like, there needs to be more qualifications for that. Like, the chances are, if you're trying to get with somebody and you're faking your entire personality, it's not going to work because it's going to be obvious that you're like if I were to go into a bar and like I'm like, okay, I'm going to pretend that I was like a linebacker in fucking college, like a D1 football player, and I'm going to pick like that's not going to work. I'm going to obviously I don't look the part, and I'm not going to know anything about sports ball or anything. Like it's going to be fucking stupid, right? But on the flip side, like if your biggest hobby is like jerking off onto fucking anime figurines, and I walk into a bar and I start talking to a girl about that, and I'm being myself, that's not going to work either, right? Like I think be yourself implies that like one, if you're going for a relationship, there has to be some level of authenticity, or else you're setting yourself up for complete and total disaster. Because there are people that will do that. I don't know if you've seen people, or maybe you recommend people do this. I hope not. But like some people will say things like, "Oh yeah, like if you really like anime and video games, don't ever tell your girlfriend that; she'll look down on you." And it's like, damn, how the fuck are you gonna date a girl and hide like major hobbies from her? Like you're gonna get fucked. Like you're setting yourself up for disaster. So yeah, I think like be yourself is like kind of important, but like that yourself might not be good enough. You might have to improve yourself first before you can expect to like have any results, you know?
Yeah, about the anime thing, this is a struggle I've had because I don't know what the answer is for that.
Hmm.
Because I used to think that I had to stop being a fan of superhero movies because I felt like women would think I'm a loser. And I don't think that's true. I don't know. But that's something because I was wondering in the past, but some of my previous girlfriends, like they said it doesn't matter that much. But yeah, I remember like a 16-year-old me or like was thinking, yeah, I need to stop watching superhero movies or like, I need to stop being like a nerd or a geek. But I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
No, I don't think
Oh,
so. I mean, like the thing is that there's stereotypical like attitudes or personas associated with those things, and I think that's usually what people don't like, rather than like the hobbies themselves, right?
yeah, it's like Uh, well, I guess it's okay to be a fan of anime, but it's not okay to be to be the stereotype of what people see or whatever.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Like on paper, I have a lot of I wouldn't say unattractive hobbies, but I have a lot of things that like a lot of people would look at and be like, oh God, I can tell what kind of person like this person is, right? Like I play autistic video games, I scream at people online about politics. I guess I kind of like anime, not as much anymore because I don't have time to watch it. But like on paper, like oh okay, like you could probably make like an assumption about the type of person I am. But like in real life, I'm a pretty friendly person. I think most people enjoy hanging out with me. I can be funny, hang out with people. It's all about like not fitting those stereotypes, I think. And the stereotypes are why people tend to get turned off from certain hobbies, not the hobbies themselves. I don't think.
yeah, I had a question to ask you on like just to kind of get um your take on it. So if let's say like one of your fans, a DGGR, just messages you or talks to you in public or whatever and tells you like, hey, like I'm a virgin, I haven't had sex ever, and I want to get laid. Like, what should I do? Like, what would you tell them? It's like a
Um,
dude who does that.
I if people are out of school and they're in a really heavily male dominated work environment, I don't know what the right answers to that are right now. I don't have any firsthand experience with it, and I don't talk to a lot of people with firsthand experience with that. I don't really know what the correct answer is. It seems really rough. The most common advice that I heard repeated that seems to be the most like on the right track are developing hobbies that can get you in front of other people again. And then once you're in front of other people again, you can start doing things like working on the people skills and everything you need to start to make some leeway in terms of like socializing with people. But
Yeah.
yeah, that seems to be like a really important thing is because it feels almost like the problem isn't even the people skills or anything. Sometimes it's just how do you get into environments where there are other people around that you like even have the opportunity to begin to talk to.
Yeah, it's a struggle I have to because I recently graduated university, and because like in university it's really easy to be social. There's
Yes.
just
Yeah.
so many events happening, classes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But since I graduated, like I thought there'd be similarly social situations outside. There just isn't.
Yeah. Yeah, even in even in college, there were girls that I talked to, and when I was in college, I wouldn't say I was antisocial, but I'm like work, school, sleep, work, school, sleep, and even in college, there were like a few girls that I was able to chat with and stuff. And yeah, and I wasn't a pickup artist or anything at all. But outside of, and then work too, actually work, but I worked in a casino. There were lots of girls at the casino. But outside of like those two environments, like I don't know where the fuck, like in those two environments, there's a million girls to talk to. And they want to talk to you too because you're not creepy. You don't have to like work like approaching somebody at the gym. There's like 50 million things you have to worry about. But like saying hi to someone after class or like going to class is so easy and so natural and it's right there. But it feels like if you don't do something in those environments and then you're out of them, you're like fucked. Or it feels that way. Like I don't know what the fuck you do afterwards. It seems really scary.
Yeah, that's quite true. Because like even for me, like if I'm at the gym, as you said, like there's so many things. Like if you interrupt a girl, maybe she was in the middle of her set, she's going to be annoyed at you. If you talk to too many women, maybe the like I don't know the staff might get mad at you. Like there's just so many things. Well, if you're on campus, you just say hi to people. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
And yeah, the only answer to that I found is just go back to university.
Yeah. I unironically thought about that after one of my relationships ended. I was like, okay, I know the type of girl I want. I know who I'm looking for, but I know that I don't normally meet that type of girl in real life. I think I'm just going to go back to fucking school, unironically, and shop for a fucking girlfriend, kind of. But, like, not necessarily. Like, if I go back and get a degree, I know that there's a certain type of person I'm going to meet. Like, it seems like it'd be good. Yeah. I've actually had those thoughts before, yeah.
Yeah. So to be clear, like earlier I took more of a red pill in the pickup artist position just because I know you're more blue pill, so it's like it makes it more fun. But I am not red pill. I am no longer a pickup artist. That was like a phase when I was in high school and first year university or so.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't want to get in trouble.
Sure.
Now, I had a realization with the pickup artist and red pill movement, which is that about 90% of pickup artist coaches are frauds. And most of their advice in terms of like how to talk to women and stuff, even though it's better than the progressive side,
Mm-hmm.
most of it is kind of trash. Because like I was doing what I would see those guys in those YouTube videos do, and then I started realizing that I would get a lot of phone numbers, but none of the girls would message me back.
Sure.
And I was doing exactly what they did. And it was like a doom pill moment for me because like I thought I had found a solution to get girls, and then like turns out like it a lot of the advice kind of made me worse if anything.
Mm-hmm.
And like yeah, I when I think of someone who might be in this situation nowadays, I don't really know like what advice to give that would help them.
Yeah, something that's really weird is like, do you know how multi-level marketing people, they say that they're great business people and everything, and they made their money doing great business, et cetera, but you look at where a lot of them make their money from, and it ends up being the case that they make money selling help tapes on how to help other people be big businessmen. You know what I mean? And that ends up being like, yeah. And, you know, I kind of wonder sometimes for like pickup artist people, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm not throwing any shade. I don't even think they would disagree with me. But like if you look at like Fresh and Fit, these guys talk about pickup stuff. At this point, they don't need to use any skills that they talk about. They're fresh and fit, right? Or even me for Destiny. Like, I don't need to use any fucking skills. I've got girls in my DMs on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everything, right? Like, I don't have to use any pickup skills. Like, if I'm sitting here saying, like, oh, you know to trust me because of this, it's like, no, I mean, kind of. Not really, but a little bit, but not really, you know? It's like a totally different living situation. And then same thing, too, you know, if you've got a guy that's like a 6'2", Giga Chad, alpha male, like the guy is like amazingly beautiful, charismatic or whatever, you know, the tips that he gives for some guy that's like, you know, 5'7", doesn't work a great job, you know, that it might not necessarily work for that dude in the same way. Yeah, a lot of it is really complicated for sure to figure out like what's good advice, what's not good advice, what works, what doesn't work. Something that you said about girls not calling you back, something that's kind of like interesting to me is it feels like a lot of red pill guys will talk about how to approach girls and maybe how to fuck girls. None of them talk about relationships.
Yeah.
Ever.
That's good.
Which is kind of weird.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Because I've asked that question to like a pickup artist coach in the past,
Hmm.
and I mean, he kind of mentioned this guy. He wrote a book called oh, I forgot. It's Dr. Glover. Uh, I'll Google it. I'll tell you later. But yeah, it's like he says that so there are a few relationship coaches, but they are very few.
Hmm.
It's like uh, or whatever. Yeah, I'll find it later. But yeah, it's I don't know why, because oh, it's No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover. He's an author, and he's like his book is like kind of a go-to for pickup artists, and he has a program that many pickup artist coaches take on relationships.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that's where they go to learn about relationships. But I think the answer is because these pickup artist coaches don't know how to have good relationships, just because it's not their expertise or something. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Um, one sec. I had another question to ask you on that. Yeah. There is a big debate between black pillars and red pillars on look versus game, and not red pill, between black pillars and pickup artists. The pickup artist side will often say, "Oh, looks don't matter at all. What you need is just have good game. If you have really good social skills, that's all you need." And black pillars will say, "Your social skills don't matter. So long as you're a Chad. If you're a Chad, like girls will love you no matter what you do, no matter what you say." I guess I wanted to get your take on it. To what degree are you pickup artist leaning or black pill leaning? Or yeah.
I mean, there's a huge overlap over both of these things, right? Like, if you look a certain way, you can get away with a lot of weird shit, right? Sometimes the difference between somebody being creepy and somebody being, like, charming is just how they look, right? Like, if you get approached by a certain type of guy, you're more likely to be warm towards him if if he looks a certain way. Like, that's definitely true, and it'd be silly to pretend otherwise. But I think that the thing that the black pill communities get wrong is their standards for looks are so autistically high. Black pill communities to me are very much like women. In that like women sometimes will talk about how like, oh God, no guy's gonna want me, like my earlobe is like too short, or I've got like weird there's like weird kind of red appearances on the inside of my nose crease, or like I think that my whatever, and it's like, dude, guys aren't looking at this shit at all. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And black pill guys will be like hyper feminine in that same way, where they'll be like, oh God, like I think that my jaw doesn't have as many millimeters of blah blah blah, and I like a woman will never. And it's like, bro, nobody's looking at this shit. Nobody fixates on this as much as like you think they do. You're insane. Yeah, I mean, that's just, yeah, I think that there's going to be some fact that like obviously the way you look is important, and you can get away with more depending on how you look or not. But I think people fixate on it way too much.
Yeah, there is this YouTuber. His name is Wheat Waffles. He's like the leading black pill YouTuber. He does this weird thing where like he'll you pay him to rate your face. And I know Alex from Playing with Fire, like he sent him a photo,
Uh-huh.
and he told Alex like, oh yeah, this one bone on your face is 13 point something centimeters or whatever.
Hmm.
Like it should have been this centimeter. Like if that would give you more like that would make you more attractive or whatever.
Hmm.
But Alex pointed out like he's never had a girl look at him and say, you know what, you're hot in all ways, except that one bone on your face that's this exact centimeters long. But yeah, it's
Yeah. And something weird also on that line that like online dating in general, I think has poisoned people for is people have no idea how wide the range is of people that they would actually like. We think that like, especially on Tinder and stuff, we start to get like hyper selective of we start to get hyper selective of like traits and characteristics that we think we're attracted to. But the reality is that as soon as you meet somebody that is like cool, you can find yourself attracted to things that you never thought you could be before, or things that you thought were really important end up not being important. You know, I like brunettes a million times more than I like blondes in appearance and everything. I just do. It's just 100% personal preference. But like I'm married to a blonde girl. You know, like I think that like you can have like a wide deference of things. Yeah, people don't know until you see it. This is why I always encourage people to get offline and to stop hyperfixating on like the size of your jaw and like weird shit like that, or like looking for only Asian girls or some weird shit like that. Like, there's a ton of shit out there that you can enjoy, and you're not going to know until you try.
Yeah, about the uh, there's a thing. Oh, sorry, I had a thought in mind, just went away. Um, yeah, about so I live in Vancouver. We have this delivery app called DoorDash, and a friend of mine said that when it comes to trying to get guys, sorry, trying to attract dudes, Tinder is basically dick dash because most men you'll swipe right on will always be a match, and like if you're a girl trying to find a dude, just use Tinder and like just just get Tinder Gold, like leave your phone alone for like half an hour. You'll get like 100 people who liked you. Look at who you like in there and just message them, and you could meet up with them within like an hour sometimes.
Wait, what was
And
it? Say the front thing for DoorDash. Wait,
oh,
say the beginning part again.
so in Vancouver here, we have a food delivery app called DoorDash, and a friend of mine joked and said that for people looking to date dudes, Tinder is basically Dick Dash.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought there was a whole other strategy thing going on. Okay, I understand what you're saying now. Okay, yeah, I've heard this before. Yeah,
It's a meme, it's a joke.
yeah, I got it. I got it.
Um, Yeah, well, for dudes, if you're a guy or like someone looking for girls, because I knew like I have a bisexual friend of mine, like this woman who said when she tried to get girls on Tinder,
Hmm.
it was the hardest thing she's ever done. And I was like, yeah, welcome to our world, you know?
Oh, yeah, it's
It-
pretty insane. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, I know that Alex, he specializes in online dating, so I don't know if people are looking for dating advice, they could go to him for that. I personally I don't do online dating well at all. Like I it's just not something I'm good at.
Hmm.
I know. Yeah, online dating kind of if you, the only way you talk to girls are for online dating, you're gonna have a rough time. Unless you have you're good at it, I guess. But it's really difficult to get good at it.
It's super difficult. It's so much easier to meet somebody in real life. Um, I don't. I hate to ascribe things to one thing to say that like this is the one reason why something is working. Because usually, if somebody says only one thing, usually they're full of shit. Usually, it's just the thing they care about the most, so they want to sell you on a particular idea. But something that I kind of wonder more and more as I reflect back on my experiences. So I'm bisexual, so I've had experiences with men and women, the vast majority with women. So my sample size with men isn't good. But with all the women I've had, I've had maybe one woman ever actually try to like push a boundary in real life. Maybe one woman, maybe, kind of. But for men, it's been about half. I've been with less than 10 dudes, but like literally half of those guys have like tried to like go way farther than, and I'm very, very, very clear with like, this is what I'm comfortable with, not do anything like this, boom, boom, boom. And more than half or around half, like in the actual moment will like try to push more. It's like, are you fucking serious? And I'm a guy, so obviously I don't mind telling somebody, hey, fuck off, or I'm leaving, or like, you need to like this, we're not doing this. But I wonder for women that participate in that online world, especially as I talk to more and more women, it's probably pretty scary to actually meet a guy. And I understand why they get cold feet and why, because there's a lot of women that will go on and just like swipe a lot and never actually do anything. And I know that like the red pill, black pill argument is they just do it to self-esteem boost. But I think it genuinely is like pretty scary on a girl's perspective to actually go out and meet dudes. And I wonder if that's one of the reasons why it's easier in social situations to try to pick up a girl, because she sees you there. She has some rapport established with you. You don't feel like a creepy, anonymous, like online rapist dude. And then, ironically enough, it feels like some of the advice that's given sometimes causes guys to be really aggressive, which in turn like plays into the stereotype that it's scary to meet people online and everything, which makes everything harder for everybody too, you know?
Yeah, I saw a video of you a while back where you said that I feel like society kind of pushes men into trying to get as much as possible from
Hmm.
women,
Yeah.
and that can get really weird sometimes. And yeah, this is something I actually learned from you when I go like sometimes when I'm trying to bring a girl back home from a date.
Hmm.
What I usually do is I ask them like, "Hey, do you want to go?" Because if you say, "Hey, do you want to go have sex?" no one will say yes. You have to
Hmm.
find like an excuse, but you both know it's an excuse. So like if I'm like, "Hey, do you want to go like listen to music at my place?" Uh, but in the past, I would just ask that, but then
Hmm.
the girl gets kind of uncomfortable. So now what I do is that I'll say, "Hey, do you want to go listen to music at my place, or do you just want to go for a walk there, or do you just want to go like somewhere else?" And the other thing is just like a way to give them an excuse to say no, if that makes sense. To like, to
Yeah, it's
not
like
go back to it.
it's really weird because people will always talk about this online over and over again that like if you're too cautious or whatever, like girls get turned off by that. They just want you to like go for it or whatever. But I mean like I feel like if I ever wanted to be like a professional rapist, like the best way to fuck somebody is to just make them feel like as safe and comfortable as possible. Like generally, like I have never ever ever been in a situation where I felt like the girl was a little uncomfortable, so I kind of like pumped the brakes a little bit. I was like, okay, hey, let's just chill for let's just chat for 30 minutes or whatever. Or we can go out to eat or grab something first, like we can chill. I've never been in a situation where I've had that conversation and then the girl is like, okay, I gotta leave, I'm gonna get out of here. Like that's just never happened before. Like I think that overwhelmingly, when a girl is in a sexual situation with a guy, it's not that she necessarily wants to say no, but she wants to feel like if she's going to say no in a circumstance, that you're going to listen to her. And if she doesn't know that, sometimes she'll opt towards either just avoiding the situation entirely, or they'll kind of like freeze up and just go along with anything because they're too scared to say anything. There's like a lot of weird dynamics there. But I feel like especially as the guy in the situation, like the onus is on you to just make them feel as safe and as comfortable as possible. And then it gives them an area to like feel like they can explore and be sexual or whatever. And they're not going to feel like they're going to get pressured into anything weird, or they're not going to feel like if they do say they don't want to do something that there's going to be like a huge fight or argument over it generally.
Yeah, that's something that it's a weird experience I had on like I remember so what relates I had an experience that really relates to that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember so I met this girl in a bar that was close to my place, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to go for a walk?" Heavily
Mm-hmm.
implying we're going back to my place. She was like, "Yeah, sure." On the way there, she's like, we get right in front of like the entrance to my building. She's like, "Hey, we're not going to your room." Right at the moment I was opening the door, I was about to close the door. I'm like, "Okay, no worries." And she just like sped through the door, like she just walked in, and I was like, "Oh, guess we are going to my room then." I go into the elevator. She's like, "I'm not going to the elevator." Right at the second that I went in, and then she just like speeds through in. Like I was barely at the door. I was about to turn to go back, and
Mm-hmm.
she just sped through and. I will go to to my floor. She's like, "I'm not going into your room." I was like, "Okay." And then she herself opened my door and walked in. And I'm still confused. Like, you just said no, but why are you like pushing me there basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we get into my room. She's like, she said we're not gonna have sex, but the second I closed my door, she grabbed me and threw me on the bed and started making out with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, You're saying no, but you're the one doing everything." I don't know. And it's like I feel like it's a weird thing because socially women feel like a taboo when it comes to sex. So it's like they feel like they have to show they are not like sluts,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. And yeah, it can
Yeah.
kind of fuck with your mind sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck my. I've had girls say shit to me, like literally, it almost feels like Seinfeld, where like you'll like for a girl that I used to date, like I would like kind of want to fuck around, but she wasn't really into it, and she'd kind of be like saying no, and then I'd stop and I'd go to sleep, and I'd wake up the next day and she'd be like, "Oh, like you should have pushed a little bit harder, like I would have, like I wish you would have." I was like, "Fuck," what? Like, and I was too young at the time to have like a more sophisticated understanding of like navigating those boundaries, and I was just like that shit would like mind fuck me so much. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? It's like that Louis C.K. skit, like just rape somebody on the off chance that they're into it or something. One thing that I don't like, I spoke about this on stream yesterday a little bit, that really irritates me with some of the red pill communities, is they're actively creating men that are actively creating women that are, one, not dateable, and two, are incentivized to lie about everything because of the types of men that they're kind of like putting out into the world, right? I don't like that men are incentivized by red pill like pickup artists to fuck as many women as possible and essentially destroy them, because when they're looking for people to date, they want women with the lowest body count possible. And like that's not a sustainable model for the world, because now you're creating women who like, well, when they go to fuck you, it's scary because if they do want a relationship with either you or someone else in the future, now they're incentivized to withhold sex as much as possible. And if they are going to talk to you about sex, they're incentivized to lie as much as possible. And it creates this really weird world where it's like if people just want to fuck, we're creating all of these meta games by creating these weird standards for judging people and dating people,
Yeah, I don't really get the obsession that the red pill side has with a leg count, like a girl's body.
Fuck. Fucking synergy. I hate this fucking program. Ugh. I'm sorry. Hold
Are
on.
you back?
Yeah, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm here. What's up?
I felt alone for a second.
Nope, you're good. Go for it.
Um, I was saying that, yeah, I don't get the obsession that the red pill side has with lay counts, but I know their take on it. So, because for me, I've brought that up before. Like, I don't care at all what a girl's lay count is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't. A girl who has, like, we say, who had sex with like 1,000 dudes, I don't really care that much compared to like a girl who had say like sex with 20 dudes.
Sure.
It's just, I don't know. It doesn't matter mean much to me.
Mm-hmm.
But they
within to be fair, within reason, right? Like if a girl was like 21 and had like 700 guys, there's probably some weird shit going on, right? But of course, but yeah, in general, yeah, it shouldn't matter that much. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah. If you're dating a girl who's like 18 and she's like, "Oh, I had sex with 200 dudes,"
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "What have you been up to?"
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I know the answer they give to that. It's the Jim Jeffries bit. You know the what's the difference between a slut and a stud?
I don't, but I'm guessing it's probably the same joke as like, what's the difference between like a master key that can open anything and a lock that can something like that? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. When I was in high school, my English teacher told me the analogy of a key that opens many locks is a good key, but a lock that is opened by many keys is a shitty lock.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know, looking back, it's very misogynistic. It's a very bad perspective to have, but that's kind of that's what they say. They'll say that it's for a guy to get girls, it requires a lot of skills, it requires looks, it requires a whole lot of factors.
Mm-hmm.
While for women, it's about opening your legs up to all the dudes, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite doubly right. But I feel like it's I don't know. It's because then they'd say that's why they judge when it comes to having sex with a girl, they don't care. But when it comes to having like a partner, like a wife, they find that, oh, if a woman that had a high body count, like a too high body count
Mm-hmm.
at like a reasonable age, I mean not like an 18-year-old, but they'd say that something must be wrong with her for her to feel the need to get that validation from having this much sex. Because it's so easy for her. It's not a struggle like it is for us. So why would a woman even want to do that much?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they say.
Yeah. Which is weird because it's like something like, I think that especially as I get older and I talk to more women, like it seems like growing up, it kind of feels like women don't really like sex that much and men are the ones that are always pushing for it. But now that I'm a little bit older, well, it actually seems like women really do like sex. Women really do like to fuck. That was the biggest shock I got from going from like high school to college. And it seemed like the games in high school were insane. And in college, people were a bit more open. But then when I go back to like the online world, well, now it kind of feels like high school again, where there's like all these weird social games around sex. And even in a perfect world, I imagine there's probably going to be a difference between like how much men versus women pursue sex. But I feel like if a lot of the sexual stuff was destigmatized, I feel like women would be a lot more open and comfortable, like exploring it a lot more. It would be way less difficult than it is now for like guys to get laid. But
yeah, it's if women were more comfortable, like that would be much more ideal.
mm-hmm.
And I agree with you too. I feel like the pickup artist side, it's like I don't know, they are kind of part of a problem because I feel like yeah, they incentivize that they promote that perspective on women being like this like it's like a woman with a high body count is like this weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing I wanted to talk about too. It's that, so I have generalized anxiety disorder, but when I was like 16, I didn't know what that was or anything. So social situations were really difficult for me.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I found out, because I was talking to Alex about it, I was talking to him about that. I was asking him like how do you like pick up artists? Like how do they overcome that anxiety when talking to girls?
Mm-hmm.
And he basically told me that a lot of them have anxiety as well. And what they would do before filming, they would either drink alcohol or they'll take anxiety pills. And that kind of that was like a weird moment for me because I always thought that these guys were like they socially kind of trained themselves to become these pickup gods that have no anxiety that would just walk in public and constantly hitting on girls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the truth is they were either drunk or high, and but it's something that should be addressed more in the sense of like when it comes to mental health for men.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reasons that men fall for the red pill or for more pickup artist stuff, it's because many of us have like anxiety issues, or maybe some might have autism, or like they have like we have like a mental health problem that we cannot find a solution to like outside. So, and the red pill provides like a solution for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily wrong to do any of that. You should probably be honest about it. Something that always fucking drives me crazy is I say it drives me crazy. I don't feel like I think in person I'm a very comfortable person. I don't feel any anxiety or anything at all. However, I've noticed that even for girls that I have a sexual history with that I know are comfortable around me, that are like super chill, a lot of them feel like they want to have a drink before they do anything, which is really strange. Like there are a lot of girls who are like there'll be a girl that I'll visit, and I've hooked up with this girl like 8 times, and before we go back to the room, she's like, oh, we should get like a bottle of wine or something, and it's like, why? And she's like, oh, I don't know, I just like to have like a drink first, like loosen up. It's like, what do you mean loosen up? What? I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. But like that's like a really common thing. That like sometimes people just like to have like a little bit of alcohol to like chill out, or maybe to get out of their head, or a lot of people have like some normal level anxiety or whatever. But yeah, that's always something I found really interesting. I don't know if people talk about that much, but yeah.
Yeah, that's an issue I've had so many times. Because I'll bring a girl back to my place, and she'll ask me if she could get like an alcoholic drink.
Mm-hmm.
But now I feel kind of rapey. Like I'm giving this girl like alcohol while I'm sober, and just so we can,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know. It always kind of messes with me because I don't know ethically if it's okay. Because it has weird vibes. Like it's like I have to get you alcohol so you become more comfortable. So. But then I'm like, am I? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Mentally,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
always
I mean, like, they're asking for it. That sounded really bad. But I mean, like, if they're asking for it, I mean, it's probably fine, right? They literally want, yeah. So I mean, if you're literally getting somebody shit faced to like even get to the part where they'll say yes, that's probably not good. But yeah, I don't think it's a big deal or anything. But I always find it kind of interesting that alcohol seems to be like a really important part of like kind of loosening people up to get them in a comfortable mindset for sexual activity. It was interesting to me.
Yeah, and earlier you mentioned that you're bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember when I was 13, I had a lot of like attraction to both men and women, but it really fucked with me because I used to be very religious. I grew up in like a really religious kind of society,
Mm-hmm.
and I at school every joke was about how like, can I say the F word?
As long as you're sure, just be nice about
Okay,
it.
no, I'm not calling people that. I was just saying like, so growing up, like people, like if I went to an all boys school,
Mm-hmm.
every insult was basically a
Yeah, of
synonym of
course.
faggot.
Yeah. And even
And
online, that was true back in, I don't know how old you are, I'm 33, but in my early 20s, in mid 20s, and almost late 20s, that was like everybody online was called some variation of that as well. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, because I was also in online communities too, and every insult was that. So when I was 13, I
Mm-hmm.
convinced myself out of being bisexual into
Okay.
just being straight. I
Yeah.
kind of trained myself to be grossed out by it, and like it's kind of weird, but even now, like I've tried to go out with dudes and stuff. It's fun, but mentally there's a part of me that feels like I'm doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like even though I'm not religious anymore, I'm an atheist now, but the the beliefs I grew up with, that sense that like, oh, being gay is wrong in any way,
Mm-hmm.
it still fucks with my head a bit.
Sure.
And I don't know if you've had that experience or if you know like what people in that situation could do.
Um, I have no idea. I thankfully, even though I was religious, it's never been a big part of like I wasn't like super sexual before I was like 16. So it's not like it was a big factor back then. I don't know how you would overcome like weird religious hangups. I know a lot of people deal with them, but I wouldn't be able to tell you how to overcome any of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. In a way, I had that conversation with a friend of mine. In a way, though, like having like religious hang-ups,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes in the bedroom, it makes things a lot hotter because you feel like, oh, you're gonna go to hell for what you're doing, and that kind of turns you on even more.
Sure.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about the so that's something that Alex Villancic brought up to you
Mm-hmm.
that I don't agree with, but I don't know enough on politics to be able to say anything. So he says that feminism in the past has done a lot of good, like but like he'll talk about first wave, second wave feminism, but he says that modern feminism has kind of like has is very anti-men and is taking away the importance of masculinity. And nowadays, the problems that we have with modern men is the rise of feminism. And yeah, so basically, they say that modern feminism is anti-men. But when I think of modern feminism, I always thought of intersectionality. So understanding that, like a white man and a black woman might have differences based on their identity and stuff like that. So to me, intersectionality sounds like common sense, but his what he's bringing up is something I don't know that much about. So I just wanted to know, like, do you think that modern feminism is anti-men and is leading to the downfall of masculinity?
I think there are aspects of it that probably are. I don't know if I would say all of it does. Like, there are definitely some things that we can take from modern feminism that's good. Like, I think there's a good understanding of what it means to be like a toxic man that we desperately needed in society, that I think we've done an okay job at like addressing and getting rid of. But it feels like sometimes it goes a little bit too far in like this idea of like demonizing all masculinity, or we end up not having very many masculine role models, which I think is like not good. So yeah, I mean, like everything in moderation, I guess they say.
Yeah, you were reacting a while back to this panel where there was this woman, Merrick Devil,
Oh
Merrick
God,
something.
yeah.
She was on a panel talking about men's issues, and the whole panel was spent trashing men. I don't know if you remember that, but it was like a
Yeah, I think wasn't it literally like a panel about men's issues, and it somehow ended up being turned into a panel about women's issues with men or something?
yep,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The whole thing was, and okay, there's a take I have, and it's like, so I am a feminist, I am a man,
Hmm.
but I'll say this, a lot of times when I hear male feminists talk about women's issues,
Hmm.
I kind of get a very creepy vibe from them.
Yeah, I didn't want to believe this for a long time, but I think it does seem to be true that there is like this stereotype of like the male feminist that literally is only a male feminist because he thinks it'll get him laid, and he ends up being a creepy fuck in real life. And I've seen this enough to know now that like, yeah, fuck, this is a thing. It's pretty fucking annoying, but yeah.
Yeah, because I remember back when I was like my late
Hmm.
teenage years, sorry. The new atheist movement became popular on YouTube,
Hmm.
and and I remember there were lots of problems with it. But what I found to be funny was that BreadTube, when that became a thing, had the same problems but worse. Like with the amount of Me Too cases were way more than in BreadTube than in the new atheist, and
Hmm.
the problem in new atheism was also accused of being super white, but BreadTube is way wider.
Yeah.
Like people of color in BreadTube complain that they don't get as much visibility as the white people.
Yeah, I kind of
And
joke that once I started doing like a lot of the really red pill shit, and like the dating stuff and like in the more conservative stuff, I'm on panels now with like 5 black people. Like fucking Sneeko, Gideon, the young Don, and like all these black people. But when I was in like the very left leaning, like communist, leftist, progressive things, there were like 1 or 2 or 3 black people across the entirety of the community. Everybody else was like shining white. I thought that was like very interesting to notice. You know?
yeah, yeah, I've noticed that too. And I kind of so my personal history. So without getting myself in too much trouble, so back in the day, I used to watch this guy called Andy Woski,
Hmm.
and he had a French Canadian co-host. But
JF Gary Epi, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I used to watch these guys, and I was watching JF debunk Prout and T on some biology stuff. Then he became to race realism,
Hmm.
and then one day I was watching him and I realized like that dude hates Jews. That dude's like a I don't know. I had like a weird it click in my head that I'm watching a racist,
Yeah.
and it forced me to rethink my own positions. And I had heard of you back then because you had a debate with this gamer, JonTron. Yeah, you
Hmm.
had a debate with JonTron, and
Yeah.
all of them were calling you a cuck.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny. So Andy said you were under investigation for
For
possessing.
child Ethan Ralph, yeah.
Yeah.
A long time ago I had so people would try to like dox me and shit and like send tips to the FBI to like claim that I was like trying to kill conservatives or had child And one of the times, yeah, the FBI shows up, they ask you questions, they have to follow up. They're like, hey, we've gotten tips about this. Like, can you talk to us about this? Like, yeah, of course, come in, chat, whatever. But when I announced that on stream, I was like, yeah, these motherfuckers are trying to get me like turned in for child porn. Ethan Ralph made an article where he'd written that I was under investigation for child porn. It isn't really true. And that's where that like rumor kind of started. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch the Ralph retort too, but because I just had different beliefs back in the day. But it was like it kind of fucked with my head when I kind of realized how like the extent of JF's views. And there was this question called the 1350 that they brought up that I was like kind of confused by it. And like I remember I asked some like real life friends of mine that question, and all of them called me racist for asking it, but no one had an answer.
Yeah.
And you were the one to provide an answer to it that kind of, and I thought you were like a cuck who's like a pedophile cuck kind of thing, and I didn't like you at first. And then when I had that realization, I tried to find you on YouTube and I started watching your stuff, and then it kind of like provided me a different perspective. But one thing I disagreed with you back then, I think you would change your take on it. You platformed a lot of people on the left that were kind of not bad, but that were like very SJW-y, if that makes sense. And most of these people hate you now too, right? So
yeah, they do,
yeah. So I was like, do you feel like back in the day you went too far on one side to the point of like, yeah, being like you defended?
It's not that I went too far on one side. It's that I needed to be pushing back. The too far was attacking one side too much and not providing a counterbalance, I think, is the mistake that I made. Yeah, that's what I would say. Like, it's even happened. I have to push back more against incel shit because unironically, like I think a lot of my fan base is starting to become incel because of like anti-women shit that I've been talking about a lot. But yeah, I think that the issue is that like if you push really hard on one thing over and over and over and over again, eventually your community is going to think that the other thing is really cool if you don't say anything about it. And that's kind of the mistake that I made. But yeah, so I try to give like a more reasoned take, or I try to hit on both sides now of issues when I talk about it, because I realize that if I only talk about one side of things, people are going to think that I'm 100% in favor of the other side, even if that's like completely and totally not true.
Yeah, I have a weird similar situation because when it comes to I have a podcast about men's issues in dating, and I talk about dating for men a lot. The only people that platform me with an audience, when I go on their shows and stuff, I love them. No hate towards any of them. But sometimes like some people, not all, but like just a few people, will make jokes about gay people, will make jokes about trans people that make me uncomfortable. But I don't know. I'm in a weird situation because no one else will talk about dating,
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know at all. I don't know. It's a very, because I'm cool with jokes and stuff, but I worry sometimes that there's more behind the jokes than just than just jokes.
Yeah. It doesn't feel good when the other people are actually probably hateful. It starts to feel a lot different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I've had that realization a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, I think so. We were talking, and I think I made like a basic kind of like just like a gay joke, but I didn't mean anything by it. But I started realizing that the people like joking, taking that joke and continuing it, they weren't joking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing to kind of wanted to ask you about. It's about the trans community. I'm really confused by for example, I don't know what non-binary means, and I feel like societally transphobia is kind of, it feels like it's acceptable. Like I know like the very left-wing people will complain about it, which is really good, but I worry sometimes that society at large tends to be transphobic. I don't know. And I kind of wanted to know what you think of it.
I mean, I think society's gotten a lot better with trans issues. Way, way, way better. It's just hard because like some of the edge issues now have become like almost mainstream issues. Where like whether or not you're transphobic is measured on like how you feel about trans athletes, which is like a very edge case issue that has become like the main part of like the discourse now. So yeah, I think the society's gone way, 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 way better for trans people, but just in some areas it still lags like a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you for like it's like a content creator advice.
Hmm.
So I was told like because I'm very new to this, I was told to like talk to people who have big platforms and stuff to get more of a reach.
Hmm.
Um, when it comes to dating for men, outside of pickup artists, outside of the red pill, who else could I talk to?
When it comes to outside of the red pill, who do you talk to for dating advice?
Yeah, that's not like that's not like this that's not right wing.
I have no idea. It seems like far left people like tend to just not touch it at all. I don't think they even touch dating advice stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of my issue because I mean I'm on good terms with. I have a lot of friends in the pickup artist movement, and
Mhm. Oh,
I have
Erudite,
a
I
lot
guess,
of.
but I think you already do shows with her. She's an interesting person to talk to. Yeah.
Yeah, Eric, Kyla and I will be having a chat soon. It's just
Hmm.
like scheduling issues,
Hmm.
but yeah, what have you seen her debate with? I mean, yeah, you've seen it. Sorry, you were on it. I got you on it, right? The authentic alphas versus
Yeah,
not
I
so
was on
everyone.
at the very end of that. Yeah.
Yeah, um, I don't know. I think maybe Kyla was having a bad day, or maybe she had issues, but I don't know because it's hard to know what was she was going through.
Hmm.
But she like the guy. So I think he's Allende. Just I don't know if you know who Allende is, but there
Mm-mm.
was a viral video where Fresh and Fit were having a podcast, and some guy knocked on their door to come beat them up. I don't know if you've seen that. It was during the ABBA and Preach Fresh and Fit
Where they did
drama.
what? Say that again.
There was a guy that knocked on their door and came in to fight them, to fight Fresh and Fit.
Okay.
It was at the exact same time when ABBA and Preach had drama with Fresh and Fit.
Okay.
ABBA, I think Preach said he was going to fight Fresh and Fit.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you've seen that drama.
Um, fuck, did I? I watched so much Fresh and Fit stuff. Um, I saw the one where the one girl, we saw it where he brought a gun. Yeah, we saw one where there was like a girl that threatened to pull a gun, but I don't think we saw I don't know if we saw the other thing. That's when Myron took his gun out? Oh, maybe we did then. Okay, but anyway, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, that guy, that's the guy you talk to. It's the guy you talk to, Allende,
Uh-huh.
he's the one who went to Fresh and Fit to beat them up. Like they
Oh,
were gonna
gotcha, gotcha,
fight.
gotcha. Okay, okay.
But yeah, his take against Not So Erudite was that so men and women, so we have our biological like desires, right? So men
Mhm.
want pussy, women want dick, I guess. But uh, his take was that what promotes men towards promiscuity is that desire to fuck, while I think he said something about women being more kind of the submissive because biologically you're more inclined to be you receive as much instead of like being more like assertive. While Erudite was saying that no, it's actually socially based. It's very socially based, and it was an evolutionary psychology kind of debate.
Mhm.
And but Kyla got really mad very quick. Like I think because Allende said something about how women are not as not intelligent, but biologically kind of inferior in some ways to men, and that just pissed her off. And I
Sure.
think from the get-go, she just got really mad. I wanted to know how would you have approached that debate?
The problem is that like sometimes it's not always the position that's being stated. It could be the tone or how it's said. So I would really have to hear the conversation of like a good take on what exactly was being said. Otherwise, it's hard to because when I showed up last night to try to like get in between these two people when they were having a conversation, it sounded like they didn't even disagree that much. They were just having problems communicating with each other, Erudite and the other guy. So yeah, I don't know. I'd have to hear how the conversation's going down to hear why people are getting like really upset. Yeah.
It was funny because you came in, you just like you got them to agree in like 5 minutes while they
Hmm.
were arguing for 3 hours.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much most of the questions I had.
Hmm.
And let me see if there's anything else. Yeah. The last question, and then I'll head out. You had a thing about where you talked about how neediness is the worst thing you can be.
Hmm.
Like you can be really hot, but if you're needy, like you'll do like it's like anti-game the pickup artist. That's what they'd say. It's like you'll ruin all your chances. And there's an example of that with Adam Levine. I don't know if you've seen what happened to him recently.
No, but I feel like have we seen? I suck at names so much. Did we look at Adam Levine stuff recently? No, I don't think
Like
so. Oh
so
wait, is this the one
basically,
where he like fucked a coworker or some dumb shit or like an employee and people get really mad? There's like 4 or 5 different scandals going on right now. With maybe
oh,
him, with the boy in a band, with some other fucking try guys. I'm not following. Like, there's like so much random shit happening right now that I'm. Yeah. Oh no, that's try guys. Oh sorry. Fuck. Okay, I just looked up Adam Levine and I saw something different. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. There's like 20 different things going on right now. I'm not following like any of them. Yeah.
and so basically, Adam Levine he cheated on his wife with this girl, who he met on Instagram, and then a lot of other women were showing the DMs that because Adam Levine, what he does, he goes on the explore page whenever he finds a girl who's twerking or who's doing workouts, but like that's filmed in a sexy way, he'll slide in their DMs, and he like
That's a base. Sometimes I'll see one and I'll like a picture, but sliding in DMs, that's shameless. Damn, I should try that. But okay, yeah, go ahead.
he slid in the DMs like one girl, he was like I love that ass of yours. I wish I could talk to it. Like
Nice.
but like, yeah, but he doesn't do it. But the thing, uh, so he kind of got in trouble because he just sent a bunch of weird messages like that, and everyone just leaked it.
Hmm.
And that kind of showed it was a weird thing because you'd expect Adam Levine to not need to do any of that stuff. If he wants to get laid, he can just looks into his DMs.
Hmm.
Or most of these girls would probably have sex with him just because he's so famous and he's good looking and he's a good artist. He has such high status.
Hmm.
And why do you think that even like people, either like him or worse people, like the super horrible people like Harvey Weinstein and stuff, who could be easily getting laid, just fuck it up that bad?
Dude, I don't know. This is a question I've always had. I feel like there's confidence issues on a lot of people. There's a lot of guys. I say this a lot. There's a lot of guys that are really rapey in the industry. It's like you don't have to be rapey, dude. You can fuck so many people. But even as a pretty attractive or pretty famous guy, though, you probably still have to approach. It's funny because we joke all the time about how like, well, women women can fuck a million guys and blah 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 blah. But a lot of women don't even have the confidence or seem to know that, which is weird sometimes too. Like which is it's even harder to understand with like Tinder shit. But like there are a lot of girls that will message me and we'll chat for a while, and then eventually like the conversation will turn sexual, blah blah blah, and like this girl will say shit like, oh yeah, like I followed you for like 2 years, and it's like, damn, why didn't you message me sooner? It's like, oh, I didn't know if you like me. Like this girl's like you're like an 8 out of 10. You're a super hot girl. What do you mean you don't think like you could have just messaged me a picture of your tits and I'd be ready to fuck you? Like what are you talking about? And I'll talk to a lot of girls that are like that have no idea that like, oh yeah, well I didn't know if you like me. And I was like, you're fucking insane. What do you mean? So even girls that are like reasonably hot. Will have like just really weird hangups or issues where they might think that like so even on like the really popular sexy guys, they might not be getting approached as much as some people think they would be, just because girls have their own weird hangups and like, yeah, I don't know, everybody has, it's so complicated because everybody has hangups and issues that they're worried about when it comes to like approaching people and everything. It's like super weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and have you heard of the Harvey Weinstein tape? The one where he was begging a girl to come to his room?
No, I haven't.
Like he wasn't like in the hotel room. There was this woman who was like, she was saying, "Oh, I don't know if I want to go into the room," and he was like, "Please, please come to my room," or something like that. Like,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, I think you're right on that. But yeah, I heard Alex said you'll be going on his show. You know the Monday one.
Yeah, which is a big mistake, but I might. I think
It,
that
it was
something that is really important is I think that guys sometimes feel like they should be able to score with every girl, but I think picking the people that you go after is really important. So like I'm pretty like I have a really high success rate generally with the people that I chase, but it's because I'm pretty selective and I know like generally what a girl is into or not into. Like if I go into a club in Miami, I'm probably gonna like I'm gonna miss every single time. Like I'm gonna walk out with no girls like for months and months straight. But like if I'm like generally sticking within like girls that have like certain academic interests or that are kind of like nerdier or into like online shit or whatever, like I feel like I could do pretty well here because these are like more my type of people. But the issue is that like obviously if you're giving advice about dating or anything related to it online, people will judge you by like certain interactions. So Alex emailed me and he asked me to go on that show last. So I was like, yeah, sure. And he throws me onto the show and immediately I hop in and this girl is like can't barely speak English. And I'm like, oh fuck me, dude. Like a lot of I speak quickly. A lot of my humor is very dry and sarcastic, and these are like the worst combinations of things for like English second language people. It's like, well, fuck. So like, yeah, all the girl. But I did watch a little bit later though. There was a girl that came on after that, I think, or the next day, who was more up my alley. But I don't know. I mean, it's fun to like try it. I don't mind it as much. It just gets a little bit like weird when some like people will start typing like, oh, like Destiny doesn't know anything, like blah 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 blah, because like he talked to this one girl that's like this Venezuelan like dancer, and she wasn't interested at all. And Destiny but it's like, okay, whatever, dude. Yeah, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Do you want some feedback on that, on your performance in the speed dating show?
On the with the was she Venezuelan or Colombian?
Yeah. She was Colombian but lives in Bolivia.
Oh, I think she was Bolivian, but the other girl was Colombian, right? Maybe, I don't know, but okay, yeah, but go for, yeah, sure, if you want to, yeah, go for it. What's up?
Yeah. So yeah, firstly, well, one of the things I wanted to do when coming here was to flex that, I beat Destiny in a speed dating game,
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna title the video like Destiny got destroyed by me in the speed dating game.
true.
It's an old meme from 2016, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys still use it. Uh, yeah, so I know what you were going for because I know you're humor just because I've watched a lot of your content.
Mm-hmm.
But when talking to girls like her who don't speak English well at all, it's like a lot of the sarcasm and stuff, like she won't get it because
Yeah.
it's just different language barrier. But she's
Sarcasm is
trying to
really hard to
say-
pick up, like for English second language people. It's a very difficult thing to understand. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you one of the few pickup artist advice that I still use to this day, but worked really well. It's like a secret I have, but just don't share it with anyone. But
Okay, gotcha.
it's called the DTR: discover, tease, relate.
Uh-huh.
Like you could ask a girl like, "Oh, where are you from?" If she says like, "Oh, I'm from, I don't know, like some country," just be like, "Are you like? Is it true what they say about girls who are from that place?" And just make up something. She'd be like, "Oh, what did they say?" Just say something like, "Oh, like you girls tend to be kind of full of yourself, or you girls tend to be like super like you love like dancing a lot, or I don't know, you come up with some stuff." And she'll burst out laughing. She'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know people like that," or "I'm not like that," or she'll say something like that. And then so that's the teasing part. So you discovered, you tease, and then you need to conclude by telling her like, "Oh no, I'm kidding. I actually I've been to this country. I really love it. I had this food there, or whatever. I love the culture and all that." And now in the end, she kind of felt like, oh, you listened to her, you teased her a bit, she laughed a bit, but in the end, you relate to her, so she'll kind of connect with you more. So yeah, if next time you go on the show, just try to do the DTR thing, just discover, tease, and relate. I don't know if it's manipulative, but I don't know. It's I learned it when I was 18, and to this day, I find it still works.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll keep that in mind, buddy.
But yeah, will we see you on another speed dating show?
Yeah, I'll probably come by again. It's fun.
Yeah, I know we were talking about this last time, but I'd love to see. So you versus ABBA versus, I don't know, Sneeko or something. I guess no longer Sneeko because it's fine, but
Jeez.
like you versus ABBA speed dating contest. But yeah, thank you very much for having me on. Is it okay before I leave to just
Yeah,
plug
go for
myself?
it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I'll send you the link if you could just share the link.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I have a YouTube channel where I talk to content creators and models about dating and lifestyle. Last week I had Alex Vilenchik, and who's like from Playing with Fire. And a few days ago I had a fashion model talking to me about like dating advice for men and women. And I have an Instagram model coming on to talk about similar topics this Saturday. And yeah, so I'll be talking to content creators from different sites. If you're interested to learn more about dating and lifestyle, just find my YouTube channel. It's a Vixlife, VIKSLIFE on YouTube. And I have an Instagram as well. It's my personal Instagram. But if you all could follow me on there, so when I slide in girls' DMs, they find that I have a lot of followers, so I'm kind of cool. You can follow me on Instagram at Vixplan. VIKSPLAN. And if anyone wants to meme with me in DGG, I'm Vixplan in DGG as well. So yeah, thank you very much for having me on, man.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, thanks a lot. You can send me those links and I'll plug them in chat. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good one, dude.
Goodbye.